Adoption of the plan.
Okay, so item number 7, there is, I just want to quickly take you through, this is for the adoption of the draft long-term plan, including the revenue and financing policy and the associated section 1013 considerations report for audit. In terms of the section 1013 report, that's been before you previously with workshops, particularly as part of that revenue and financing policy workshop. I just wanted to draw your attention to the additions that I've made, which was the additions to the community outcomes. We looked at that again. In the past we had made reference to them, but we've decided to include them in full there. And we've also added another column to the tables which talks about which community outcome each activity primarily contributes to. That's the addition to those ones. In terms of the draft long-term plan itself, there's two minor changes that I just wanted to, 2 pages where there's changes. The first one is on page 11, and I've got the amended page 11 and 12. So the first change is on page 11. I've changed the wording at the bottom of the paragraph that talks about looking after the assets we have whilst maintaining levels of service. The sentence used to say that the graph was just about showing the capex. I've actually made it more specific because now it talks about each group of activities, and then you'll note over the page that the graph itself is actually different. And now what it does, rather than just showing a full capex and renewal program, it now shows that capital expenditure split into the different groups of activities. And then we've created things that we'd been discussing through the workshop was actually around the volume of water versus the financial dollar amount. So that wording now reflects that. And there's some benefits to that in terms of, so for example, if it's a particularly wet year, then you'd expect them to use So that's that other additional change.
Just on that, Ariel, should we not specify that it was only for a period of 3 years?
Yes, we can add that.
Sorry, Your Worship. I can't remember, and excuse my ignorance because I'm pretty sure I was at the workshop, but we've got all these different community group or different service agreements listed here. Do we not have one with the Taupo Sculpture Trust? And if so, how did that fall off?
No, we don't. We've got we hold a capital budget, and it's a capital budget rather than operational, and we have an MOU with the Sculpture Trust which says you can come into us and we will consider an application up to 50% funding of a particular site. So we don't physically at the start of each year give them cash and say go away and deliver. So
is that ongoing, or is it something that they may need as a group to submit on? I'm
sure they will, but in your draft LTP that you've been talking about, it does have that commitment ongoing. Yes.
Great, thank you.
Public art.
Great.
Through the Chair, with this $45,000 proposal for the golf club to go out, my understanding it comes out of the 231,000 has to come out of that. So personally, I'd like to see that over and above. I know it's probably unbudgeted at the stage, but I'd personally like to see it go to be, what stage will that be discussed if that was an option?
That was discussed at the workshop, whether or not you wished it to be in addition to the 231,000 or if you wanted it to come out of the 231,000, and my understanding was that the consensus was for it to come out of the 231.
Which leaves 156,000 for the rest.
Some deliberations you can deal with that.
Yeah. Just clarifying that too, Ariel, is it's only if they need it. Obviously if it rains all summer, they won't need any water.
That's right, and that's part of the reason for changing it to a volume base rather than a dollar base. Yes. I mean, we've had to include.
So we don't need to put that in there if required.
No. I think if required makes it a little bit too. I think it will be on a case-by-case basis because we won't have an understanding of that until it occurs.
All right.
Okie dokie, Councillor Christowski.
Just a couple of things, please. On page 11, second paragraph, first line, we talk about it is estimated that Taupo's usually resident population can increase by a maximum of 70%. I would feel a little bit more comfortable if we were to delete the word maximum.
Sorry, what page were you on, Councillor?
Page 11, second paragraph, first line.
What did you want it to say, sorry?
I would feel more comfortable if we deleted the word maximum, because you're limiting yourself to what is actually or could happen.
200%.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Yep, good. Thank you, Councillor.
And another point, if I may, please, on page 143.
Chair, I'm just wondering, instead of jumping over these pages, are we going to work page by page through this draft long-term plan?
No, I think we're just, obviously we've had it for quite some time now, so we'll just...
So effectively, Your Worship, you're telling me there's no changes in the script from the original draft plan that we were given on that Thursday?
Ariel?
Can I respond to that?
Yep.
So what you will have noticed is that the version that came to you included the track changes of the discussed changes that you made on the 22nd of January. So they're included in there for you.
There are other changes
Yeah, well, that's right.
tracked.
Okay. Councillor Krasowski's got some
Just one more. Page 143, the last paragraph, second line, we refer to, under natural disasters, to a volcanic activity. But when just the item previous to that, on page 6/10, all we do is refer to a falling debris. We don't actually refer to any volcanic activity under natural disasters whatsoever. Should there be sort of some consistency and reference and alignment or whatever?
We can have a look at that.
That'll do me.
Yep, okay. Any others from anyone, Councillor Body?
Well, I believe this is the draft plan
Draft plan, yes.
for 10 years, and I believe we want to do due diligence and go through it page by page, because there are figures that have changed and there's script that has changed.
Well, we've had
It's the job of this council. I don't care how long we've had it.
Yeah,
The job of this council is to go
do
through
the other
it and make
councillors
sure we've
want to
got it
go
right.
for it page by page? I suspect not. So give us changes, please, Councillor Body. We will see if we agree with them.
Well, some of it is to do with script. Some of it is to do with the assumptions that because a certain percentage said they wanted an increase or a decrease, particularly in regards to Destination Great Lake Taupo, it's misleading to be sent out in that form, because when you look at the deliberations report, you actually find that the bulk of those that submitted that way were in fact tied up with destination or enterprise. Then if we work through this page by page, which I'm going to do now, you can go and have a cup of tea if you want to. Some of the wording, things like keeping the rates affordable, what's that actually mean? We get back to the evil of the business about rate increases may not exceed the forecast local government cost index. I thought we were meeting somewhere between that. That's on page 14. The business in regards to the TEL fund, I'm standing with my argument. The argument that I've put up is that the 2.8 or 3 million we get in interest should be going towards debt repayments. The comments have come back under option 3 that will only equate to 0.3% a year in regards to rate saving. The figures I've seen gives us another 5.5 million on that TEL fund. So are we better to have 5.5 million more on the TEL fund or 28 million more off our debt?
I think what you're doing here, Councillor Body, is you're making statements as we go through. We've already talked about all these things. Just give us your changes. Have you got some changes, or see if the other councillors agree with them or not, and we'll get them in the plan. If you don't mind. While you're perhaps getting to the next one, Councillor Body, I'll go to Councillor Jollins?
Sorry, John, did you have some?
I'll just beg one more.
And John a break, and Councillor Jollins, please.
Okay.
You had something?
All right. Okay. I just have one key question through the chair. Thank you. Our rate setting process is reliant on two key documents: the revenue and financing policy and our funding statements. Have we had a full legal review by someone to make sure that we're compliant with both the LGA and the rating act? Because obviously that's not a job for audit.
Yes, we have.
We have. So we're all squeaky clean.
Thank you, Councillor Jollins. Councillor Boddy?
In the draft document in regards of water, we had the number of treatment plants around the lake. This document states 16. The website we have says 18, which is correct.
Well, there's a total of 19 if you count Taupo, Turangi and Mangakino, but 16 is the correct number. We'll amend the website accordingly.
The treatment of biosolids at View Road site, there could be a liability of 2.1 million for that. Is that in their draft budget?
No, you'll recall that we had that conversation about View Road, which was that there were several options, and we weren't sure what was going to happen in terms of the current consent and whether or not the current consent holder would continue to hold that consent or whether we would have to look at other options. So that information is in there so that when we come to that point in time and we have further information, we can include that in our annual plan without requiring an exceptions report on that particular point.
We haven't put it in as a liability between now and 2025.
It may be, depending on what the outcome is with the current consent holder's continued desire for that area of activity.
I've got some real concerns in regards of economic development to do with Destination Great Lake Taupo. The figures that they've produced show an increase of visitor numbers in 3 years of 50-something thousand, to which we're going to spend over 6 million to achieve. And they've already raised their results back in 05-06. We're at the moment $69 million behind and 0.47 million visitor numbers behind 05-06. The other ones get more complicated, Mr. Chairman, because they're to do with figures.
As I say, if it changes, please.
Page 86. With the finance costs, are they the total finance costs per year of 11 million?
Your financials are always produced in gross. You'll see they're 11 million dropping down to 6.5 million.
At the end, yep. Yeah. When I mentioned about the changes in figures, it's the financial ones. There appeared to be some changes in the prospective statement of financial position. Unfortunately, my eyes are starting to play out.
Which page you on?
Page 89. What's that figure there? 54, 55. What's the figure on your page in that column?
Can I just, through the chair, just comment that this information is to be audited currently and during February, and the final version after audit will be presented at the 24th of February.
Okay.
So
effectively then the figures that are quite different from what we had 10 days ago are not a concern.
Mr. Crawford?
During that last meeting, you identified that there was $1 million from the Lake Taupo Protection Trust that was shown as an opening balance and then also shown it as a closing balance at the end of 2025. And we've since amended it to because that cash is due to be paid out in 2015-16. So accordingly, the cash balance in the balance sheet has reduced by that $1 million.
So that's a statement of financial position.
Correct.
That's been altered there. Did anyone else pick that up?
So as I say, audit will be signing off these numbers.
Without going much further in, Mr Chairman, I'm concerned about the figures that we've been given in regards of our debt repayment. The graphs in this document don't relate to the figure that we're going to end up at this end of this year, which was 148 million. It seems to be higher than that. I'm just wondering whether we need to track through that, or are we just going to leave it to audit again?
So which page are you referring to?
I'm referring to a document that I received from Mr Ward in regards of a number of our cost centres and the repayments for this year, starting with 165 million and ending up with 148. And when we went to him with the two lots of papers I had that were changed, the comments were, as a heads up, the 17 million budgeted for debt repayments 14-15 include a one-off additional 10 million debt repayment. Now, he did state that he would be sending me further information on that. What I'm doing is I'm questioning where we're going to be at the end of this year versus in 10 years' time.
At our 24th of February council meeting, there will be a set of accounts for the 6 months ended June, 6 months ended December 2014, and a forecast for the remainder of the financial year. So you'll be able to then look at what our forecasted position is versus what the original budgeted position was.
So then on the prospective statement of borrowing, the closing external debt stated here is 161 million. The figures Mr Ward have given me are 148. That's a large difference.
My understanding is that is that based on what we presented in the annual plan? Yeah, so that was...
Yeah, so it's once again, you'll get to see what the forecast position is versus the annual plan position, and what we have to have in here is our 14-15 annual plan numbers. We cannot have our forecast 14-15 numbers.
So, Mr Chairman, Your Worship, this document is going out as a draft document with additional or new figures that are going to be given to us at the end of this month.
No, the numbers in there for 14-15 are as per the 14-15 annual plan.
The other thing, Mr Chairman, is when I look at the information we've received in regards to our rate increases per year, I have argued consistently that when we say our rates are going to be X, we haven't included in some cases the targeted rates. And it's interesting that when you go and get your own figures, and I've got mine, the general rate's going up 3.5, the sewer rate 3.4, and I believe the water scheme 5.3. I get nervous when we go to our ratepayers and tell them that this is what it's going to be, when I haven't found one property that will have exactly that. That just might be me.
In our financials, we show what our total rates requirement is for the year. We show what the percentage increase of that total rates requirement is versus the previous year, and then based on the growth in rateable properties, we then show what the percentage increase is on average per per ratepayer across the district. At council level, that's what you can do. There's a number of sectors within that rating model, whether it be industrial, commercial, residential, utilities or what, and to pick out an individual property, yes, it will differ from what the average is, but for financial reporting purposes, that's what we're required to do.
Just to finish up, Mr Chairman, Your Worship, we've been told consistently that we cannot have differentials with the generators. Is that correct or not?
We have previously discussed that as to the legal position, and I'm not prepared to add further comment to it.
Well, Your Worship, I am, because I've reported to this council before what Central Otago does, and I'll brief you again. Their general rate.
You've told us several times prior, actually. Does the councillors want to hear that?
Well, what I want to establish from this council, can we or can we not put differentials on generators, yes or no?
The use of differentials is allowed under the rating policy. It was extensively workshopped. Ariel would know the date, so I am sure everybody knows the answer to that question. It's not the use of differentials that is the issue, I believe, Councillor. It's actually the scale and the size of that differential that causes the legal issues that we have referred to you.
So therefore we can do it, as long as the differentials are fair and reasonable, we can do it.
Absolutely, and this council uses differentials to that effect.
But not on the generators.
You guys can answer that one.
Just through the chair, my concern, and just not the expert, entering into agreement with various sectors of the community could open us to litigation and a law, because you cannot treat one sector more favourably than another under the current capital C capital rating system. It's the way I see it.
Central Otago do it very, very well.
And during the workshop you demonstrated that if you do change the differential by a certain figure, it will impact to certain sectors in different ways, and you worked your way through those sums during that workshop process.
Okay, thank you.
Well, finally, Mr. Chairman, on page 185, and I could be wrong on this, solid wastes, I believe that the last draft we got in regards of clean fill at the landfill was $11. The new one stating 20. That wasn't in the last draft. It was the concrete.
It was for both clean fill and concrete.
Okay. And finally, I think there's a spelling mistake at the back.
With the chocolate fish.
Inflation adjustment.
What page, sorry?
208.10 inflation adjustment needs an extra E and B.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Boddy. Ariel, have we made any changes out after? There's no changes there, I think. So we've got a suggested resolution there in front of us that we adopt the R&F policy and we adopt the draft long-term plan 2015. Please. Moved by Councillor Williamson. Seconded by Councillor Christowski. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I would ask then that the word fairness be removed out of the front page, long-term district strategy. It states about a new funding model to improve fairness. There's nothing fair in the new funding model. That word shouldn't be there.
What page are you on?
Page 5.
Actually, yeah.
That's your opinion.
That's opinion.
My opinion, I'll stick to it.
Okay, thank you. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against? Carried. Item number 8. Draft long-term plan consultation document for audit. Ariel.
Okay, so this is the good bit, because this is the bit where we talk about what it is our community is going to be reading when we're out for public consultation. So we talked through that with you at the workshop on the 22nd of January, and we also sent you out the revised version. Sorry for the track changes version coming, it was a bit messy, so we sent you the revised version that had all those changes accepted. There's only 2 changes that I wanted to make to that version that got sent to you, and those reflect the changes that we just talked about in the draft long-term plan. And I've got pages here. They essentially look the same, but I just wanted to provide them to you for completeness, because it's again changing that graph for CapEx and also changing the wording for the golf club. So it's just for completeness that you need to have the copies of those ones. Other than that, sorry.
Okay.
Other than that, it would be great to get your thoughts and feedback, and just make sure that everybody is happy with what it's saying, and also just go through any questions that anybody has about the actual consultation process, which again will be coming back to you on the 24th of February with the actual agenda item to adopt for consultation. So this is just adopting this document.
Okay, thanks, Ariel. Has anyone got any questions and queries on the layout and etc.?
The only other thing is I haven't been very successful in organising your photo.
No, I noticed.
I did manage to have one with Mark, and I thought,
Yeah, well, shall we use that?
Bradley Cooper's not here.
This is true.
And looking very smart, I might say.
All right. Has anyone got any questions or queries?
Chair, I've got a question in regards of 817. I raised it before in regards of percentages being used in response to the options debate, when those submitting were in fact involved with the organisations. And I don't believe that the percentages should be presented in this report.
I don't know. Didn't say. Where are you? What are you talking about? John, where are you? 17.
What was... Sorry, Councillor Park?
After Councillor Body's query's been...
Yeah. What was the query? Sorry, Councillor Body? You don't want...
What I'm stating, it is very misleading to use percentage figures of submissions that are made when those making the submissions have an interest in what they're submitting on, i.e., if the chairman of Enterprise Great Lake Taupo makes a submission in favour of an increase, he has a whatever the word is. It's very bad. It's like having Enterprise Great Lake, Destination Great Lake Taupo present to us that they want more money or for it to stay the same, and yet they're the ones that are receiving the funding. So how can we then go to the public and say 70% or 20% decided on something when they actually have a vested interest or an interest?
It's the responses. We're talking about the responses. It's the actual fact of the responses. That's how many responses we got in. So I don't sort of get what you're coming with that. Councillor Park?
I'm just going back to the front page. Sorry, Maggie. We've got our 1, 2, 3, sort of 5 key things, but maintain the quality infrastructure that we have is repeated twice.
Really keen to
Here.
No, thank you.
Okay, who was next? Councillor Cousins?
Through the chair, I just remember we spoke about this last time when it comes to managing our net debt position. I asked if we remove the relative word and the sum word for council, and we agreed, I thought, but it's still there. So under managing our net debt position. I was taking notes. I was taking notes.
I did take notes, but I also noted that it wasn't generally supported, so I didn't make that change. But if council would like me to make that change, I'm happy to.
What page?
Because it's all about. I was thankful that it was in there, but relative would mean we're a little bit high, and some would mean there are lots of other councils that are in debt, but we're actually tell me if I'm wrong, but we are the second most in debt council in the country. No. The last report I read, which was the report from Wellington, what's the gentleman's name? That we were
Western Bay, I can think of just in the Bay that have got more debt than us.
So we're up there though, are we not?
We're high.
Gross debt, not net debt.
Oh no, I'm just keeping it honest.
We're low in terms of net debt.
The lowest
Low
one.
to net debt.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Roseanne.
Thank you. Through the chair, I just had a couple of points I wanted to make. First of all, I'm really pleased to see the graph that does capital expenditure by activity. I think that's great. I just wanted to take up on Councillor Boddy's comment regarding the percentages, because we sort of moved on from that. I would have to agree with him that we need to note that these are the people that responded to the options debate. Reading it on the face of it, it sounds like 72% of everybody wants this or wants that. That's not actually the case. It's 72% of those that responded.
I had that wording in there originally.
Yeah,
and
I would really encourage it to go back, please, if we can. On 8/22, I see that we've taken out the treatment of the biosolids, and I know we've already had a conversation about that, but I thought a key part of the consultation document was to highlight things of significance. Do we not think that if we have to spend 2.1, we need to signal that in the consultation document? Or have I got that wrong?
No, we can put it back in, that's fine.
I just think we have an obligation to cite what might be significant, and we seem to have, I've got blue lines like it's been taken out.
Oh, sorry, no, it's on 8/26, it's in.
It is in.
Yeah.
Sorry, in my one I've got it out.
Okay,
So it is
right,
in?
Yeah, no, it's in.
Yeah, I'd like to see it in because I think it's significant. And just in terms of the key pillars that we talk about, I mean, the acid test that I put through them when I reviewed whether they should be there or not is, what are we doing, why are we doing it, and how are we going to do that? And I just get a little bit confused. I mean, we explain it further on the document, but the first point, maintaining the quality infrastructure that we have, in terms of answering that what, why and how, it's just a bit cumbersome because it says we've got good quality infrastructure, but we're only going to renew it. I just think it needs some wordsmithing because, does that make sense? Yeah. Cool. And the top one, we talk about ensuring the Taupo District remains a great place to live. Why are we doing that? We don't, I mean, it's just semantics, but I just think we need to be really clear why we've got that as a key focus, why are we doing that. Does that help? But, I think that was it.
All right. Just on the last one, do the councillors want that taken out? Are you suggesting taking it out?
No, I'm not suggesting I'm taking it out. What we need to say as our pillars is what we're doing, why we're doing it, and how we're doing it, and we don't actually address that acid test on that point, do we?
And so you wanted to, in that first, well, this was my understanding, was in that first paragraph we talk about Taupo District as a great place to live, and why that's important, and council wants to keep it that way. You want to add some more wording around?
Yeah, why, yeah. Otherwise it's just a piece of dressing. You know, we all agree we want it to be a great place to live, but if we're following that format of why that statement is in there, we need to expand on it.
Okay, thank you very much. Right. Suggested resolution there.
Oh, just one other point through the chair, sorry. Are we required by the legislation to tell people what our preferred option is?
Yes, you are.
We are.
That's why, and if I've missed one, then let me know. But
no, I don't believe you have. I just wanted to check that.
Yeah.
We have a legal requirement to state what our preferred option is.
Okay, thank you. All right. I have a move for that resolution. Thank you, Councillor Krastowski. Seconded, Councillor Park. You said Kirk. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Those against? Carried. Item number 9. Us. Yeah, 9, yeah. Tina, Standing Orders Amendment. Oh, Jane, thank you very much.
Right. I'll take this report as read. Any questions?
Some changes?
Through the chair, just one question, Jane, for clarification. If I entered this council meeting via video, do I constitute part of the quorum?
No.
No. Okay.
Quorum has to be present in the room.
In the room. Okay, just wanted to clarify that.
Trying to get out of a job, are you? All right, Councillor Park.
Oh, sorry, Lee. Number one is we have no money allocated in the next 10 years for any sort of upgrades whatsoever. Secondly, as being a part of the former triennium, we had a member that spent some time in Christchurch and did try to come in via sort of conference link or whatever sort of link it was. Due to the setup of the chamber, he blocked off half the public, and it was and there was some sort of sound delay. There was something happening which caused a lot of disruption to the meeting. So I therefore will be voting against this resolution.
I was here at that meeting, and I was sitting in the audience, and there was also confusion about who was actually talking, because Rob Williams was away at the same time, and so people thought it was Rob talking and not the other Rob talking, and all you could hear was his child playing in the background, and it distorted the whole thing, and I cannot agree with that.
Okay, I probably will just add, this is just changing the standing orders. We quite categorically state in the paper that we don't think the technology is there yet to actually do this.
Sorry, Jane, just to make one other point, I believe if you want to stand for council and you want to put your best foot forward for the community, then you turn up and you do the job in person and don't take the shortcut by trying to do it from another employment or from the safety of your own home.
Can I ask one more question? If you're doing it that way and you're not part of the quorum, do you get a vote?
No, because the quorum, you have to be present to vote.
You have to be present.
Thank you.
Yeah. This is just basically government direction that needs to go into standing orders. So it needs to be in there anyway, whether we do it or not.
So this is just basically trying to keep with the times. So yeah, we quite categorically realise that our technology, one, doesn't help. The setup of this room doesn't help. But this isn't to stop you possibly even going down into the Taupo room and having a little teleconference. But again, you're not allowed to do it for hearings. So anything very important, you are still not allowed to use the technology. So.
It'd be quite handy in the odd committee meeting or something like that. So, yeah.
It's just...
Sorry, just one other point, Your Worship. In 2.20 of the recommended resolution, I think there's a slight typo. It says of any committee of the local authority by audio link, but I think it might need to be linked.
Trust you to pick up that.
That's come from LGNZ, I believe. Sorry.
Oh, I'm starting to blush. Councillor Jollins?
Look, I mean, this is just a piece of housekeeping. It's not about us all diving off over the country to remotely link in. At the end of the day, if you're part of a quorum and you need to vote, then you'll be present. And in the year and a half I've been here, we've had pretty much full attendance at all these council meetings of all these councillors. So I think it's a red herring to say that, but it's just a piece of housekeeping, isn't it?
Yes.
Acknowledging that our technology is not up to scratch. We have a renewal. Oh, yes.
What date's that, sorry, Tina? 23rd. 23rd February. Okay.
11 a.m.
Shani, all right?
Then the only other one for you to consider is we will attend Zone 2 meeting.
Yeah, and that's 27th of February, and that's in Tauranga?
Tauranga, that's correct.
Is anyone available to go to that? Councillor Park, thank you. So we'll add that to the resolution.
Chairman, is there a meeting this Thursday at 10 o'clock? Something to do with communities?
Thursday.
Is it?
Okay. I've got it calendared, but not on the council one.
Whereabouts?
Yeah.
Your Worship, I've got something, Camp David number 2 on February the 20th, 9 a.m. on my calendar.
Yeah, but what, that wasn't this? When are you talking about? No. Councillor Body? On the 5th, is it?
Thursday's the 5th, yeah.
Yeah, no, there's nothing here.
I've got, I do, in support of Councillor Body, I've got our neighbourhood review, our future partners review.
That's the one.
Oh, sorry, it's not okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I wasn't clear on that one. Sorry.
All right, thank you. So the suggested resolution there, 1, 2 and a new 3, that Councillor Park attend the Zone 2 meeting. Thank you, Councillor Park, for attending to that. Can I have a move for that resolution, please? Thank you, Councillor Cousins. Seconded by Councillor Stewart. Thank you very much. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against? Carried. Item number 12, members' reports. Yeah, so they'll just be handed in, please, to